Ooh. What's up, good people? It's time for another session of that verbal cardio, man. We back yet again, another week, another glorious week. We're live. We're live for another week, man. That's a blessing right there. People be dying, man. Shout out to Hurricane G, Tame One from the Artifacts. They passed away recently, and I'm just like, man, come on, man. Hurricane G used to always pop up on Red Man stuff and like Eric Sermon stuff. I liked her voice coming in hot, mad East Coast, mad energy on it. And you know, the Artifacts, a lot of people don't know about the Artifacts, but I was a fan. Cast from Jersey. It was a rap duo from Jersey. They had the song Wrong Side of the Tracks, and they were dope, man. And they were in their 50s. And you know me, man. I'll be like, yo, man, what's the cause of death? I want to know, man. You can't just be like, yo, such and such died. And then leave it at that, man. I need answers, man. How you be dying out here? How you be dying, man? I'm coming back from the grave. I'm gonna be like, yo, I died, and this is how. You know, it'd be great for what if dead people could tell you how they died, man? Every case would be solved. You'd be like, yo, I'm dead, y'all. Such and which poisoned me. I'm out. And then they out forever, but they said what they said in a public fashion. The cops would be like, man, this is the best thing that ever happened. Unless you were a dirty cop and you was killing people. Anyway, I got my co-host extraordinaire, Water, always with me. I did all this damage today. I'm damn near done. And it's only like 3-something p.m. And I'm already here with it, man. Come on, man. Y'all better watch out, man. I'm out here really drinking this water, man. You know what I'm saying? Water is life. It's important. It's crucial. It's vital to everything you about, everything you got going. You already know. You know this at this point. If you listen to Verbal Cardio on a regular basis, you know this at this point. You know you need this. You know you need it. You know you got to have it. You know you got to take it in. This is vital right here. Got my producer extraordinaire, Sabrina. She is remotely coming in this week. So you won't see me looking at her in the studio like I normally do.
When people be like, man, Tony's a good listener because your face be all in.
Yeah, you know, that's a huge compliment. You know, I'm big on, you know, listening and listeners. So that's great that they see that, man. You know what I'm saying? So Sabrina's in her workstation, computer, streaming, computer, keyboard setup over there, the mobile command unit, as we like to call it.
Yeah, my little streaming setup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I be streaming, y'all. Pull up on me.
Pull up on Sabrina, man. She be streaming now, man. She going all in. She invested a lot of time and money into this streaming setup. So make sure y'all pull up and make it all worth it, man. It's an investment.
It's quite the investment, please.
Yeah. So pull up.
I had to eat dry rice for mad long.
Yeah. Speaking of rice. So on my Instagram, I did a hard-hitting questions where the question was, would you rather go back to your ex or count every grain of rice in a bag? Comment section was flooded with people counting the rice. It was overwhelmingly, I'm counting the rice, I'm counting the rice, I'm counting the rice, I'm counting the rice. Everybody was counting rice. So I'm just like, yo, man, all of y'all was in a bad relationship like that, you would rather count the rice. And so it got me thinking, like, numbers wise, when you counting the rice, you make it seem like your ex was the bad guy. Ooh. Or girl, whatever. You make it look like your ex is the villain when you say I'd rather count the rice. For whatever which way that is. And so I'm just like, these numbers ain't adding up. Some of y'all are the villain in your relationship. I don't know if you own that. I don't know if you're aware of it. But a lot of you are the villain. So while you sitting there counting the rice, you the one that ruined shit. You the one that fell short. You the one that did some shady shit. So I was just like, everybody out here, everybody's just counting the rice. And so me and Sabrina were talking about it yesterday, and it was just like, it was just too many people counting the rice.
Man.
And I've noticed that, like, a lot of people don't have ownership in their whackness or whatever the case may be. When you're in a relationship and you break up or whatever, everybody's, oh, they're dead to me. Nah, man, my ex was trash. She was crazy. That's always the narrative.
Mm,
And nobody owns up to their part of the bullshit in relationships. So it's just
ever.
like, I'm counting the rice. My ex was this, that, and the third. And me and Sabrina were talking, and we've had in-depth conversations about exes and past exploits and all that. And I've never once heard her bash her ex-husband. Not once.
Ever.
Not once. She's always been like, he was a good dude, you know what I'm saying? Sweet guy, you know what I'm saying? His family was cool. She's always like saying positive things about her ex-husband. And I find it refreshing. And she owns her side of the whackness. She'd be like, I was trash.
Absolutely.
And I find that refreshing. Now, mind you, if my ex asks, you ask my ex, would she rather count the rice or get back with me? She might be counting the rice. But I own my whackness. And I just feel like the majority of people don't really show accountability or ownership on their side of the whackness in a relationship. That's why, when people in my comment section like, you giving your ex too many props. I couldn't just sit there and have you. Why? Why I gotta bash my ex just to make the current feel good about what we got going?
Right.
And it's just like, man, y'all are really like, I don't think a lot of you have healthy outlooks on just relationships in general.
No.
Because it's like, not everybody that you're no longer dealing with in a romantic sense has to be a villain. That's not a guarantee. It doesn't have to be that way. There are some people that break up and it wasn't infidelity, it wasn't, toxic shit, it wasn't abuse. They just faded apart sometimes. Sometimes they outgrew one another. Sometimes they just found out they weren't the right fit. You don't have to always walk away like, man, they was absolute garbage. Sometimes it just don't work out. And you can still wish for the best for that person. You can still be friends with that person. You can still check on that person. You can still care about that person's whole existence. Like for me, like, people I've dealt with, I care about your life. Like, even though we're no longer, tied together in that sense, I care about your existence. Like, I want you to be happy. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be out here, living life to the fullest. I don't want you, in turmoil. You're not dead to me. You're very much alive. You're a chapter in my life that's not edited out of the history books. So the numbers just wasn't numbering for me, Sabrina. And I was just like, man, come on, y'all. All y'all counting the rice.
You know what my thing is about like people having an issue with you bringing up your ex-wife is like that to me is just rooted in insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm really big and I really pride myself on the fact that I'm not really like insecure like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm secure with like what we got and who I am and where I stand in your life and this, that, and the third, that I like you giving another person, another woman, anybody props isn't gonna have me in my feelings. Like, but what about me?
Right.
You know what I mean? But that also shows that a lot of people aren't receiving the proper confirmation, or what's the word I'm looking for? They're not receiving the proper validation, I guess is probably the word, from their spouse to know that, hey, like just because I give them props doesn't mean that you don't get the same type of props or even better. You know what I mean? Like you're like, it's a different pedestal that you hold people on. And I know where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like you coming home to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and especially with our dynamic now, unfortunately, with the passing of Serene, it brought us all closer together.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time together as, two couples that, We spend a lot of time together. And it's always different too when you have children with somebody. When you have children with your ex, it's always best. I know it can't always be like this because of, the situations that you go through. It's always best to have a healthy relationship with your ex when you have children together, because the children don't really care about the little ins and outs of the relationship that you're no longer in. They just want the current relationships of co-parents to be smooth, comfortable, and the kids don't want to, and I don't care how old they get, from babies to little kids to teens to adults. They want to be able to talk about their mom or dad in mixed company and be comfortable with that. They don't want to have to be like, I don't want to talk about mom in front of, your girl now. What kid wants to go through that? They want to be comfortable. They don't want it to be awkward when they're, in the same space at the same time. And so what we have built, due to this tragedy, it brought us closer together to where we're just cool and comfortable with one another. Like, I play dominoes with my ex-wife's husband daily. Daily we on the dominoes. Like, daily. Like, be like,
you be mad serious.
Yeah, like dominoes is serious business. Me and him play dominoes on a regular basis. I called my ex-wife yesterday just to get some updates on the court information. And, we're just on speakerphone in the car, and we can hear Tony Whitehead in the background. And we just laughing because we know how Tony is. And we just like, he was back there doing something. He was getting into something. And then Cherie was just like, what are you doing over there? He's like, no, let's get this going. Don't come over here. It was just a funny, comfortable dynamic to where we know them and they know us.
Yeah.
And it's just, everybody's better for it because you can call it maturity or, communication, or just like, but that's what it's all about. Like,
right.
Not everybody has to be dead to you. And you do a disservice to your children if your ex is dead to you. That means your child just lost a parent in your mindset, which cannot be. You know what I mean? And so, and I know it's easier said than done. I know some relationships are truly terrible and abusive and toxic. I don't want to diminish any of those that you may have gone through at all. I'm not doing that at all. But I'm just saying, due to the numbers and the percentages of what I was seeing in that comment section, it made it look like none of you were the villain in your last relationship or whatever. So I just wanted to say my piece on that because it was mad rice counting.
Man, it's so silly. Like for me, coming into your world, I was already like, man, anything you got, that's what I'm embracing.
Right.
I came in with that mentality, like, yo, whatever the situation is, like, I'm not coming in. I didn't come into the relationship with the selfish mentality of like, it's just you.
Right.
And everything else is like, whatever. Like, I'm not really worried about everything else. It's just, you're a grown ass man in your 40s. You feel me? Like, I can't expect you to be like a blank slate. Like, you know what I mean? And I can't expect you to be like, yo, everything before me, forget about it.
Right.
Me, I'm the captain now. Like, I can't come in with that mentality. I literally came in with the like, all right, what we got? Right. Okay, bet. And you already seen how I was with the boys. You know what I mean? I was always willing and open for whatever Ree was comfortable with. I was always there with it.
Right.
I was like, all right, whatever, whatever, wherever she's at, I'm willing to meet her there.
Right.
Like, she want to have like a cool relationship, let's do it. If she's just not ready, well, all right, fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've never like put up a fight. I've never like had an issue. I've never like, you know what I mean? Like I've never, but that just comes from being secure with who I am. And like knowing that all that insecurity does is cause more stress. If you're an overthinker, like I am, adding insecurity as an overthinker will just have you with nosebleeds like every fucking day. Right. Because you're just overthinking yourself to death.
Right.
And so like I feel like having that security really has helped me a lot with my anxiety and like a lot of things. Like it hasn't cured my anxiety, but it's helped, you know what I mean? I feel like you have to learn to focus on the things you can control and don't worry about the things you can't.
Right.
And like one thing you can control is knowing who you are and knowing the value you hold within situations, like in this case, our relationship.
Right.
And just being like, yo, like you know, at the end of the day, you're with me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or even if it's not outside of relationships, just knowing who you are. And a lot of people ask me like, so how do you reach that? Like right now, Kiyomi just asked me, how do you reach that security though? Focus on what you love about yourself.
Right.
I think we spend so much time focusing and highlighting the things that we don't like, or like things that we're like, man, I wish I could change this, and the third. But we are very like, we're taught to not big ourselves up. Oh, that you full of yourself, you this, that, and the third. Fuck, be full of yourself. Right. Be full of yourself to the point that you're like, yo, I'm dope. At the end of the day, like I'm fucking like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I know what I bring. I'm like, the thing I like about me is my humor, you know, and my ability to make people feel good about themselves, and my ability to like big people up and be like, yo, you got that? Like, da-da-da, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm really good at that. So yeah, I feel like everyone needs to just focus on what they bring to the table.
Right.
And ask people. Also, I'm sorry. And ask people. You know what I mean? If you don't know what it is that you bring to the table, just be like, yeah, like
what am I bringing to the table?
Yeah, what you like about me?
Right. Don't be scared to ask those questions.
Yeah. And ask
also,
your friends.
I want to ask this to the people in the Chatsworth. Like, for those of you that are always, nah, my ex is trash, my ex is this, that, and the third, and you lack the security of, you know, you lack the security of recognizing a mature and healthy relationship when it comes to people's exes and stuff like that. Where does that insecurity stem from? Like when you find yourself where you like, man, you know, how do I get to that place? Why are you not at that place? Like, what's your origin story when it comes to those type of insecurities? Like, you know, who caused it? Where did it come from? And I'm just curious, like right now in the Chatsworth, shout out to the Chatsworth, they up in here live right now. Like what bred into, you know, the mindset to where you can't handle stuff like this? Miss Incredible says, legit, it was my dad. It was your dad in what way?
Can I also say that the whole pinning women against each other really has a lot to do with insecurity as well? Because we're constantly told like, oh, she prettier, oh, her hair, oh, her stomach, oh, her body, like, you know what I mean? And it's just, that doesn't help on top of like trauma that we were raised with, you know what I mean? So like when it comes to women and insecurity, I get it, because we're literally brought up to go against each other, which is bullshit. Right. You're not my enemy. You're not my competition. You're my homie. What's up? What's good? What's up, shorties? Like, I'm here for all the women. And I think it's silly, but men want us to compete with each other for the gaze of a man.
Childhood trauma. Kiyomi says, my mom came out and told a few months ago she didn't love me enough as a kid. Wow. 2 weeks after he moved out of our house, he introduced me to his 3-year-old son.
Oh.
I've always been okay in relationships, says Shan. I got here late. What was the question? And why are folks counting the grains of rice? I was asking, like, for those people that can't fathom giving your ex props or not counting the rice or, you know, stuff like that. where does the insecurity stem from to where you can't even fathom, being in a relationship with somebody, or even just fathom not having beef with your ex and not seeing him as dead once you break up or whatever the case may be. Miss Incredible said, I felt abandoned and not worthy of his love. Wow. The only competition is yourself. Absolutely. What I discovered, like living life and lifing it up and, existing, is that in our minds, we compare ourselves to other people just, naturally. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you dating somebody and you find out, let's say you find out who your current boo had a crush on or has a crush on, you might naturally compare yourself to them. You might be like, oh, well, shoot. And then you start looking at them, you compare visuals, looks, frame, whatever, occupation, mindset. What you might want to start comparing yourself to that. And I find that, like, let's say, like Sabrina tells me who she's attracted to that might be an actor, musician, or whatever. I don't look at those men as like, man, well, shoot, he look better than me. He, he thin, he swole, he this, he that. He's all arty, he's all spiritual, whatever it may be. I just be like, yo, they different than me. I'm different than them. Whatever they bring, I don't bring. I have this. So it's like for me, I get a real sense of, all right, well, I'm still me. I'm still liked. I'm still felt. I'm still valued. And, even when, other people, you find other people attractive or whatever, it's not really in a comparison sense. Like when you find somebody else attractive, you just find them attractive. You're not like, oh man, they look better than my girl. Or, oh man, you know what I'm saying? She killing my girl in the looks department. She killing her in this, that, and the third. It's not even a comparison like that. You just like what you like. And you're just drawn to what you're drawn to. And it has nothing to do with you. And I think we have a hard time accepting it has nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? And so we immediately go into, comparison mode and like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm bringing this, that, and the third. I got this, that, they don't look better than me. We immediately go into comparison mode for the affection or the visual of another person when, it might not even be like that. Maybe some people do that purposely, and that's just trash on their end when they purposely be like, well, she looked better than you. That's garbage. Because now you're just destroying somebody intentionally.
Yeah.
But just the mere conversation of, you know what I'm saying, I like this right here. Or, you know what I'm saying, we talk about people's looks all the time. We be like, yo, such and which, man, it's a good looking person. We be like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We just had those conversations. Mm-hmm. And it's never me going into like, well,
I would fuck.
Right. Sabrina likes Ashanti, and she posted her yesterday.
Damn.
And she had the cheeks out. And I wasn't like, man, I wish I had Ashanti cheeks. I was just like,
you do.
I was just like, I just respect her crush. I just be like, well, that's what she into, and I find it cool that I can handle those sort of things. Even when it's a guy, even when it's a guy, it's like when I find out she finds another guy attractive, I don't start hating on them or like, shitting on their work or whatever. It's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? All right. I'm still a fan of them regardless. So it's just, I just know my worth and my value and what I bring to the table. And I'm good in that. And I'm 45.
Let me put names. Lakeith Stanfield. I had a crush on this man.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Tony. And then Lakeith started following Tony. And then Tony tweeted, yo, what do you do when your girl's crush starts following you?
Yeah. And for me, and when she told me she found him attractive, she sprung it on me because we was talking about something else. She was like, at least pick somebody I'm attracted to like Lakeith. And I was like, oh. So it was like she sprung it on me. I was like, oh shit. Here we are. But never have I been like, I'm not feeling this guy. I'm not watching Atlanta. I'm not watching Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm not doing this, that, and the third. It's just like, hey, she feeling what she's feeling. And for me, I'm a fan of his. So it's never like, oh man, don't be watching his movies. Shit. Like we be talking about, the performances, the this, that, and the third. I might joke here and there, but it's still like I'm not hating on the guy. You know what I mean? And I'd be damned, she used to have a crush on Nas, and I'd be damned if I'm losing my Nas fanhood just because she had a crush. Please. Nah, man, I'm rooted in Nas.
Oh man, you are Nas.
He ain't going nowhere. I'll be damned if I let Sabrina ruin Nas for me. Absolutely not, man. I can't have that.
Absolutely not.
I can't have that. I was like, nah, I ain't feeling Illmatic because Sabrina had a crush. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm all in. I can't wait for this album to come out. King's Disease 3 dropping on the 11th. Black Panther's coming out. Man, it's just a good time. So,
You wearing a Queen's crew neck.
I got the Queens on right now, so it's like for one thing, you have to realize what you can and can't control. It's like Sabrina said earlier. You can't sit here and control how your significant other views people, who they might find attractive, who they might be attracted to. You have no control over that. And if let's be real, we are not the only people that are attracted to our significant other. It sounds romantic. It's great to think that way and, lie to yourself and be like, I'm the only person they've ever felt in life. Well, then explain how they dated people before you. Explain how they have exes and ex-husbands and ex-lovers. Explain that if it was just all about you. Sure, it's romantic. Not everybody can be high school sweethearts out here. That's just not the reality for so many of us. And so you just got to be cool with that and be like, there are other attractive people out here. Has nothing to do with you. It doesn't make you less. So just keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Now, when people if people start weaponizing this shit against you, then that's a different thing. When they be like, man, your dick ain't big enough.
Hey, yo.
His dick bigger. Then that's when it's like, all right, man, look out. That's when it's a flag on the goddamn play. Now they playing mind games and now they trying to destroy you. That's a different dynamic.
Can I also say to the people that have people in their lives who shit on them and try to bring them down, and I've had people like that in my past, right? I've had dudes that, I was dating, and when they got a little too comfortable, that came with them trying to pull me down.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of believing them, I realized that they see my greatness, right?
Yeah.
To the point that it intimidates them because they don't see the greatness within themselves. So they don't want me to be who I am and feel comfortable with who I am. So they want to bring me down to their level.
Right.
And then that's when I'm out.
Yeah.
You're not about to do that to me. I need you to see the greatness within yourself so I don't have to reap the repercussions of like, yo,
right.
You not feeling yourself and you don't want nobody else to be feeling themselves either. And I want everyone to walk forward with that mentality.
Yeah.
I want you, every time somebody tries to bring you down, it's because they see the greatness within you and they don't see it in themselves and they want you to come down to their level. It has nothing to do with you. Don't carry that with you. Don't put that in your pocket and be like, let me hold on to this and feel this forever, because that's not who you are. You are amazing. You are an amazing individual. You are beautiful inside and out. You are capable. You are worthy. You are all the things. But other people may not see that within themselves. They may not they may not see that they're worthy of love, of greatness, of this, that, and the third. You feel me? Like, so it's like they don't want you to feel the same way because they might be intimidated by the fact that they can't get to where you are. But everyone can get there. You just need to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? So don't let Don't believe the people that are trying to bring you down. Just hold the mirror up in front of them and make them see that they don't have to do this, that they are great within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if once they believe it, greatness will happen. Great things will happen. Great people will come. You know, great opportunities will pull up. So it's like, don't believe them. Just don't believe them at all. I promise you. Because if I was that person, I wouldn't be with Tony right now. I'd be with somebody who's telling me I ain't worth shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'd still be with somebody that's like, nah, like you need to humble yourself. Don't humble yourself. Don't be full of yourself. There's a difference where you bring other people down.
Did you ever struggle with that? Because a lot, you know, we always hit people with the encouragement, but we don't always hit them with the struggle. Did you ever struggle with somebody that was down on you like that? Did you ever stay in a relationship a little too long? And if so, how did you get out of it?
You know what it is? So in my relationship, it was a lot of negativity towards myself, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, nah, but you're not that pretty. Mm-hmm. You're not that cool. You're not that smart. You're not that talented. You're not this, that, and the third, right? Mm-hmm. From this person that's supposed to like care about me. That's supposed to be like, you know, a person for me.
Right.
But then outside voices by the hundreds would be like, man, you're pretty. You're talented. You're cool. You're smart. Wow. Like I've had scientists conversations with them that I'm like, yo, man, if I could have this kind of conversation, what the fuck they talking about? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you have to listen to the hundreds that are pouring into you and that are it's your glass is always going to be half full, not half empty. And if anybody says that, yo, your shit is half empty, bro, you might as well, you know. So it's like, I struggled with that. And you know, it's crazy. My dad, watching my father exist has also helped me a lot because, and he doesn't know this. It's not like my father's a very stubborn, hard-headed Caribbean man, but.
Oh, that's where you get it from, but keep going.
But, I would watch him move and I would watch how he interacts and I would watch how he is alone. So by himself, right? When it would just be us at the house, he would, like I said, if somebody knocked on the door unannounced, he's turning off the TV, he's turning off the lights. He's going, shh, 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 be quiet, be quiet. You know, he likes his little introvertedness. He likes to just be left alone. You feel me? But once he's out, he's on. He's funny. He's charming. He knows the right things to say. He knows how to like make people smile, how to make people laugh. He knows how to like just say fuck it and just be himself and not really care what other people are saying around him or doing around him. And that's because he knows where his strong points are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this man's a musician. Like he's not afraid to showcase his talent. You know what I mean? And that talent comes in many forms. And being able to have a conversation is a talent. Be able to make people laugh is a talent. Being able to just like help somebody feel good about themselves is a talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we all possess it. We just don't really tap into it. So like, the hell was I going with this?
You say you credit your dad for just showing you that, you know, you started out, you know, the millions, you know, the hundreds of people pour into us, and then we be hung up on that one person. It's just like, you know, it's just like that one person at the comedy show that's not laughing. You know, the whole crowd is dying. They setting themselves on fire. They spilling drinks on one another. They throwing up. They falling out. They going into labor. They having cardiac arrest. We're focused on that one person that's not laughing. And that's it. We tend to do that in our relationships or whatever. You know, we got all these compliments coming in. We getting propped up. We getting boosted up. Man, you a dope individual. You're talented. You're good looking. You're this, that, and the third. We focus on that one person that we're with because we put all our emotional eggs in one basket, and then they're bringing you down, and then boom, You just like, well, they said I ain't shit. They say I need to work on this. They said, fuck them then. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to the people on the outskirts that are pouring in. And we always do it. We fall victim to highlighting the singular negativity. And we just hold on to that and we grasp it. Even in the comment section, you know. Oh, this post is so funny. You're hilarious. You're hilarious. I love you. You're the best. You're the reason I'm on Instagram, man. You my favorite page. It'd be that one person. Why is his hair like that? And
why is your hair like that?
And we be like, man, on that one person. We just fall victim to it every time. And we just gotta learn how to just shut that off. Just shut the door and slam the cabinet. Slam the cabinet.
I will say that the internet is really, really harsh on women in such a way that, like, it's just so unnecessary. It's so ridiculous. The stuff that, like, people have told me, and I'm just like, whoa, hold on. The hell did this come from? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like, that's another thing. Like, just understand that the world, and this is from my women and men too, because a lot of men are shitted on and not lifted up because they're told, well, you're a man, get over it.
Right, for sure.
Just people in general, don't listen to it. We're bred to be at a certain level because we're not meant to be great in the eyes of the masses. You know, like in the eyes of, like, the bigger picture of things. We're meant to be workers and forever and, like, work for minimum wage and, like, just be less than, and, like, and if you tap too into, like, your greatness, your inner greatness, then people can't take advantage of you. Like, the system can't take advantage of you. And, like, this whole thing, like, you know what I mean? So, like, just understand that none of that is real. You know what I mean? You are amazing. I want you to repeat that. I am amazing. I am dope. I am capable.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're not always going to believe that. I also want you to understand that I be depressed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'd be sad. But you know what's funny? In my depression, where I'm like, man, I'm sad. I'm super depressed. I wish I didn't wake up today. Da da da. Through all of that feeling, I'm still like, but I'm fucking dope.
Yeah. In mid-tier wipe.
Yeah, it's so funny that, like, I have clinical depression, so I'm sad most of the time. But even in my sadness, I recognize my greatness. And I think that is the most important thing. And that's what kind of keeps me going.
Right.
Is that even in my sadness, my greatness does not diminish.
Because
you feel me?
Huh?
I said, you feel me?
Yeah. Because even, you know, I have those days and moments where it's just like, man, I ain't feeling myself. I don't feel like, you know, whatever the case may be, whether it's my looks, my drive, my performance, my hustle, my career, my content, me as a father, me as a companion. It's just like, man, you know what I'm saying? You have those flashes of, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing good enough. I'm not, you know, I'm not getting it done. I'm not feeling this, that, and the third. But then you come out of it and you be like, you know what, man? I'm tripping. I'm a catch out here. I'm a catch. You know, and that's how you got to look at yourself, man. Because that's how I look at myself. I'm a catch, goddamn it. You know, I'll be out here like, man, I'm a catch. You know, I'm a good prize, goddamn it. And you know, you just got to tell yourself that, and you got to believe it, and you got to feel it, you know, because it's not going to be the same feeling every single day. But as long as you lean towards that more so than the other, you'll be good to go. Because we not always going to be at 100%, you know, confidence and, you know what I'm saying, security. We're not always going to be 100%. That's not reality. We can sit up here and tell you all day, believe in yourself, and you the best of all time, and you are valued. That's not the reality. You're going to wake up Wednesday and be like, man, fuck this. You're going to look in the mirror and be like, man, you're going to kick the mirror open. But then some days you're going to be like, man, I'm dope as hell, man. Let me put this mirror back together. You know, and that's just life. That's just life be lifing. Like I said the other day, life be lifing, and we going to ebb and flow, and it's waves. And it's waves to this, you know, security and trust and confidence. There's waves to that as well. But as long as the majority of the time you're on that good wave, you'll be good to go. But that I just wanted to say that on the counting the rice, man, because everybody was counting too much rice. Speaking of rice, Green Chef.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about Green Chef for a minute, Rhea. Let me get the credentials up here real quick. Let me get the credentials going. The good old credentials, man. I had them up. Where they at now? Hold on, man.
Let me tell you about my experience with Green Chef while you get your credentials up.
Yeah, man.
I made the penne with creamy mushroom sauce. Now, I did leave the mushrooms out, and I replaced the penne that they sent with protein penne because I'm trying to do a high protein thing.
Yeah.
But everything else, like that recipe was so good that I made it for 3 days straight. I bought all the ingredients again.
When I was out of town, huh? You was partying it up with the penne?
I was. While you were gone, I was having the time of my life. Me and Midnight, we was eating penne like royalty, and Dapper, he's on a diet, so.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It's like when we get it again, I'm hoping that they send that because it was good. And then I made you the Thai style tofu and rice soup.
Oh, yo, that tofu rice soup, that was fire. Because it was a mixture of the tofu was seasoned great. And then the soup part, the broth, the bait, what do you call it? I guess the broth, right?
Yeah, it's a broth.
It was like a mixture of like sweet and savory that was real dope. And like there's some coconut in there. And it was just like a nice variety of taste differences in there that came together. And it was like, yo, it was dope. I was like, yo, this is really good. And I feel like these meal plans and these meal preps or whatever you want to call them have come a long way to where it's just like, yo, they're getting fancy out here with the menu items and, you know, a tofu, coconut soup. I mean, come on. Like I grew up in the 80s where shit was basic. You just getting a TV dinner, you just getting a meat piece, some potatoes and some vegetables, and you getting a random dessert portion to the side. And that was it. You couldn't even identify everything. I don't know what this is in the corner, but it's sweet. I think it's apple something. I don't know. You know, it's the sweet. But these meal plans, let me tell you what Green Chef is. You know, first of all, Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preferences. And that's a 3-piece suit. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? They've expanded their menu. They've gone from 24 to 30 recipes weekly. They hitting you off with the weekly recipes. They're not bullshitting. With the option to mix and match meals from different dietary preferences in the same box without changing your plan. For example, order vegan one day, keto the next. Craving more of a certain type of recipe? Now you can add extra portions to your weekly order in just one click. Now I'm extra portion McGee. As you can see, I'm extra portions out here, man. Seconds Montgomery. That's what they call me in the hood. We're offering more customization than ever before, in addition to swapping protein in any meal that features chicken, beef, or salmon for USDA certified organic ground beef, USDA certified organic chicken, and wild-caught sockeye salmon. Now you can also add chicken or fish to select vegan and veggie recipes each week for an added protein boost. And they're now offering 10-minute lunches. Each week's menu includes two convenient, low prep, and nutritious lunch recipes ready in just 10 minutes, no cooking required. Perfect for when you're on the go, which is what I am, or pressed for time at the office. This is the office for me right here. Eat well at lunchtime too. Green Chef's exciting new ingredients, recipes, and delicious meals support a healthy lifestyle. Eat well without sacrificing taste. So go to greenchef.com/verbal599 and use the code verbal599 to get $5.99 per meal on your next box, and your one box ships for free. So on your one box, it ships for free, and you can get it for $5.99 by using the code verbal599. Again, go to greenchef.com/verbal599 and use the code verbal599 to get $5.99 per meal on your one box. So that's $5.99 per meal, y'all. That's some good money right there. You know how expensive it is to eat out? Shoot, when we go to Whole Foods damn near every day, right?
Oh my God.
And we go in there. I usually get like rice. I just get vegan yellow rice in a box. Depending on how many scoops I put in there, the highest I spent on just rice is $12.99.
Man.
Just on the rice. $12.98 just on the rice. You can get a full meal here for $5.99. So come on now. Get in on this, man. Green Chef. Again, that's greenchef.com/verbal599 and use the code verbal599 to get $5.99 off your box. Pause on box. You know what I'm talking about?
Ain't no
you feel
pause.
me? Ain't no pause. All right, we out
Yo,
here.
I will say this because I'm like, okay, coming from someone who literally worked with food for 9 years of their life, right? I've kind of always like looked down on these meal prep things, especially because they never have good vegan options.
Right.
The vegan options are usually pretty trash, and then like the whole like prep portion of it sucked.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I mean this truly, that Green Chef is actually a good time because the food is actually good. The vegan options are delicious. The prep is legit.
Okay.
It's not tedious. It's not. It's none of that. You know, you do have to chop, but that's fine.
Okay.
Everything comes perfectly portioned. Sometimes I do wish they had a little bit more of this than that. You know what I mean? But that's just because pickiness. But yeah, I really thoroughly enjoy Green Chef.
And Sabrina be picky, y'all.
I'm fucking picky, bro.
She picky McGee, man.
Especially when it comes to like cooking and food and stuff like that.
Nothing's ever good enough for Sabrina, y'all. So this is epic, man. She always got to add and take away. Yeah. So this right here is epic talk. Speaking of talk, Drake and 21 Savage are talking for a full album together, for a duo joint collab album. Drake and 21 Savage just dropped a new joint. I call it a buddy cop album. You know, there's two cops coming together from different districts working on a case. And I feel like Drake had the majority of the action scenes within the movie. He probably got the majority of the screen time. And 21 Savage is his partner. Say what you said yesterday, Sabrina, about the two.
I said that Drake is the unhinged, insane, causing havoc, chaotic cop that always gets in trouble. And here come 21, like, all right, let me just, I'm sorry for my partner. He didn't mean it, Cap. I'll deal with him. I'll take care of it. You better take care of him or you're off the case.
You're off the case, Drake. Captain, wait, hear him out. Yeah. We did. So basically, Drake is exactly, Jay Thomas. Drake is Riggs. He's Riggs. He's all the loose cannon partners in any buddy cop joint that you've watched. That's Drake. And 21 Savage is the guy like, hey, man, relax. So in Bad Boys 2, Drake is Mike Lowry and 21 Savage is Marcus Burnett. You know, he's just like, man, do you have to call him that in his house? You know what I'm saying? So they're doing big numbers. It's going to be the #1 album next week. So of course they putting the numbers up. And surprisingly, not all joint albums hit. You know, it sounds good on paper, but sometimes not all joint albums really connect with the masses like that. And so I've been hearing like people been feeling this collab album. You know, Amir's feeling it. You know, he's a music guy.
I am. I don't like the Meg Thee Stallion line, but I haven't heard Drake rap like this in a long time, so it made me happy.
It sounds like it reminds me of old Drake on this project.
A little bit.
Like I get remnants of early Drake. Like
he went back. It feels like
So
if you're
Far
reading this is too
Gone.
late for me.
Who?
If you're reading this is too late, I wouldn't go that far. Like So Far Gone, I wouldn't go that far back.
Sometimes he got them So Far Gone, mainly on the singing front. Like,
okay.
The way he's singing and harmonizing, it takes me back to So Far Gone, like a couple of tracks. This is one track I had to skip though.
Oh yeah.
I forget which one it was. He just kept repeating the same line.
Oh, that's Hours in Silence.
Was it Hours in Silence?
That's the one where he like the longest that he's on there.
I was just like, man, let me go ahead and skip.
It's like the longest song on there too.
Skip this real quick. And I was just like, all right, why you keep saying this? Because he kept saying, oh no, it's when he said the line. It might be Hours in Silence. He was like, turn my bitch up, turn my bitch up, turn my bitch up.
I think that's Hours in Silence.
It was
and
something
then
like
he goes
that.
into the part. Is it my fault? It's like it's my fault or something like that.
I skipped. I was like, man, turn this shit off. I told myself to turn the shit off, and then I turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking to myself, like, man, turn that shit off. I'm like, you right. And then I was like, skip. But there's some tracks on here. Middle of the Ocean, I like. Pussy and Millions, I like. Me and Sabrina were talking about this. And Amir, I want you to weigh in too. That I was just like, when these artists are using the auto-tune and the voice modification, they lose individuality. And Sabrina made a interesting, take on it. Is like they're not really looking to be individuals or stand out. They looking to be a part of the sound and the movement of what's hot rather than truly standing out. What made me say that is Travis Scott, for example. I wouldn't be able to identify him in a sonic lineup of today's artists when he comes on the track. I'll just be like, because there's always a modification there. Because I came up where hip hop, everybody was sounding different. Not everybody, but the majority of cats sonically sounded different. You would just like, you would hear Nas, you would hear Jay-Z, you would hear DMX, and they were vastly different. And, I could throw in another art, Cameron, we talking about Cameron the other day. Cameron is so off the wall. The way he rhymed and what he would say on tracks, we was just like, yo, man, this dude is different. And when people say they're not feeling Cameron, we get it. But at the same time, he got a lot of stuff I'm feeling. So I feel like, and I agree with Sabrina, I feel like, she made a good point where, if everybody's using that voice modification thing, you lose a sense of identity in your sound because everybody's doing it. Mm. And I feel like, well, damn, I don't know how that's going to look long term. And even though Lil Wayne, for example, is he's probably the most influential cat out, his regular voice is distinctive. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't even need the modification because his voice is so distinctive, and it always has been. Like his voice, it's Wayne coming around the corner. It's him. So it's just like Wayne has that distinction, and it's probably what has made him the huge influence that he is. It's not even the auto-tune or whatever they put on their voice. What is it called?
Yeah, it's auto-tune.
It's auto-tune. Whatever he put on his voice that he doesn't have to put on there, without that, he already stood out. He was already like the guy. And so now I feel like everybody, let me put this on my voice. Even Chris Brown. Like, why are you modifying your voice, bro?
When Chris and Drake did No Guidance, I was listening to it and I was like, dog, why does Drake's voice sound more natural than Chris Brown? And you're the singer. that was crazy to me because I know Drake is using auto-tune too, but Chris's voice is so processed with everything else on it. It's not just like the auto-tune part. It's like a phaser and a flange. Like he does all these things to his voice, and it's like, dang, bro, like they don't even sound like you. And his voice sound thin because the more digital things you do, it takes away some characteristic. Where Drake sound like I can hear the tonality of Drake, which is not the usual for him. So I was like, this is kind of like a flip. Like it was a little weird.
Yeah.
But I would say on that point, auto-tune definitely makes your voice sound a specific way, and it's because it's just taking your voice and putting it to the closest note in that particular key that you set. So it'll make you sound robotic. It'll make you sound kind of crazy, whatever.
Right.
But without it, people definitely they have their own kind of sound.
Right.
In their own. It's just that auto-tune is the way to go, and people don't. And since everything about rap nowadays is melodic, people have gotten used to things sounding perfect. Right. So it's hard to just take it off and then just do what you do, because then it's like, dog, I can't even. It doesn't sound good. Yeah. And it even those imperfections that we're used to for singers back in the day, they would have slight imperfections, but they can sing.
Right.
You're not going to hit every note. It's just not possible, you know. And that those imperfections would show. You go listen to the music nowadays, be like, dang, what was that? Because we're so used to everything being pitch perfect now, because auto-tune is pitch perfect. Auto-tune not gonna miss a note, so they kind of have to use it. And if you're gonna be melodic, you almost have to use auto-tune, because if you don't, it's gonna be like, bro, this is bad. Yeah. Even though it's like, bro, I'm not trying to be a singer. You know, it can work for certain songs and stuff like that, but for the most part, people will just kind of jump to it.
Right.
And I wouldn't say like Travis, he has a distinct voice. His voice has that raspy tonality to it. Even in the auto-tune aspect, when he gets on a song, I know it's him. He's been around for a while, so I know it's him. It's I would say newer guys for sure, but I think that's just how music has always been. When somebody comes out, they kind of have a bit that they take off of the person that they're influenced by, and then they develop in their own sound. It's just that we're catching guys when they're brand new on the scene, and they sound just like the dude that they're influenced by, because it's hot and they can pop at that moment. Then you give them time, and then be like 5 years later, it's like, nah, he got his own thing.
Right.
And I think that's what we're running into.
Right
that kind
now,
of stuff.
we're in the zone of them finding their own thing while sounding like what influenced them.
Yeah, because Travis Scott's sound has been that. It's just that Kanye, and he came up under Kanye Cudi.
Right.
That's his thing, even though he was signed to T.I.'s label. Makes no sense, but like he came up under those guys.
Yeah.
So his sound has a lot of influence like that. You listen to some of his older stuff, he definitely like, oh no, that sounds like Cudi. Oh, that sounds like Kanye. And he had a big impact on Yeezus, the Yeezus sound. Yeah. So when Travis came out in this crazy mosh pit wild rap, it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And he developed his own sound, and the auto-tune pushed him to another height as he continued to get bigger. So his sound is distinct, and people will try to sound like him. He even has artists that sound like him, like Don Toliver makes Travis Scott like music, just he sings more than he raps.
Okay.
So we got guys that are doing that kind of thing, but we like a Young Thug, and it was like, okay, when Young Thug came out, we was like, all right, he sounds like Wayne, right?
Right.
Even today, he still has moments like Wayne, but he has a distinct kind of sound and flow that he's developed over time that everybody wants to use now, like a Roddy Ricch or a Gunna. And those guys come out and they sound like him, but they have to develop their own sound eventually. And that's why they be like, oh, they all sound like. It's like, give it time, they'll get their own thing. Right. So with Roddy Ricch, he came out with his first album. I was like, it sounds like a lot of Future. It sounds like a lot of Young Thug. I'll give him time. He's been around for a while, but I'll give him time to really step into that. And the thing is that he has the way he switches his flows and stuff like that, and his LA talk, like he has that's missing, that wouldn't come from a Young Thug, because he's talking about something totally different, the way they carry themselves.
And that's the tough part too about Roddy Ricch. You can't even identify him geographically, because of the sound. He sounds like so many other cats. It's just like, oh, he's from LA. Like you would never think that. They would just be like, bam, I never would have thought he was from LA, because he sounds like these other cats. And it's just like, so we just gotta wait for the real them to show up. And it always sucked. I feel like it was always unfair for Black artists. We always got to be bringing it at a high level when it comes to how we sound. And I feel like white musicians don't have that same pressure. There's so many white musicians that can't sing worth a damn. Yeah. And they get all these props and praises and hailed as legends. Bob Dylan, for example, can't sing for shit.
It's just it's a thing of like I feel like we've talked about this before, is like where the origins of things come from. And when you realize what's the easiest way for people to necessarily jump into music nowadays?
Yeah.
Computers aren't necessarily super expensive, but you can record a whole album off your phone.
Yeah.
That's accessible because everybody, it's easy. It's easier to do that than play an instrument or something like that. They don't teach instrument anymore. Right. So we had to adapt. So when instruments were falling out of schools and, you know, all this stuff going on, what we started relying on back in the day, not we, because I wasn't alive, but they get records. And they would take the breaks for the records, and then they started rapping. This is where rap started. So they started rapping on that.
Shut your young ass up, by the way, but keep going.
And then they just started, you know, doing that, breaks over the rap. And then they was like, all right, over these records. And then we rapping the James Brown's samples and stuff. We looping this. And that was another thing. It was like, but y'all ain't playing no instruments? What are y'all doing? But then it was like, well, we created something different. We got something new. And then Auto-Tune obviously been around. Cher popularized it, but it wasn't to the point that it came when T-Pain and Lil Wayne started using it. And then the thing about Auto-Tune back then was it wasn't accessible. It was very, very expensive. That before it became a plugin, it was a piece of hardware. It cost thousands of dollars. And if you wasn't in those kind of studios, and it was you couldn't get it. So nobody could really get to it. And then when it got accessible, people was like, oh, it's on the phone. Like I could just use the app and I could record on the phone. Like there's a lot of kids nowadays, their hit songs blow up on TikTok and they recorded on something like BandLab or something. These are like free apps.
Damn.
So it's like accessibility thing. It's an easy thing to do. Is what they listen to. So they're influenced by it. It's accessible. So they'll go after it a little easier than
it's the easy come up.
Yeah, white artists or something. I wouldn't say it come up because when you realize there really ain't no money in it, but it'll give you enough attention for you to maybe try to monetize on some other shit. Right. But music is not the lucrative business that people think it is, at least for the artists or the creatives in general. Right. They run you dry.
Damn.
Yo, can I say what I said yesterday, like in full? Because remember I said that a lot of people like to do what everyone else is doing because this is the generation of very minimal individuality due to social media influence, and everybody wants to sound alike, look alike, have the same bags, buy the same body, rock the same outfits, have the same drip. You know what I mean? Like, and so unless it is something like NY drill, right? Drill music, that New York drill music, you know, it's from New York. You know what I mean? But outside of that right now, and I'm talking about what's popping right now, everyone sounds the same. And like you said, you can't pinpoint where they're from. But back in the day, you always knew a West Coast artist. You always knew a down South artist. You always knew a East Coast and Midwest. And it's like now I feel like I don't know what any of that sounds like. I know what Baltimore dancing is like though, because I be watching them videos all the time.
Right. They're holding on. They're holding on to the rich regional sounds and dances and culture that they have, which I always love. I love the individuality of different regions. Like I'm always big on I want every region to look and sound like that area, that particular place. I don't want everything sounding and looking the same, man. You know, individuality, individual sounds, different cultures, different, you know, I love that. Like, and I just don't want to lose it because everybody wants to look and sound the same. It's just like neighborhoods. It's just like all the suburbs start to look alike. And you're just like, man, this look like I can be anywhere USA with this. You want that individual look, that style, that sound. And I just be scared, you know, we gonna lose those individuality, you know, pop-offs, if you will, with everybody trying to get on and get in how they can get in and losing that. And like I say, like I love it when I can identify your accent. You know, oh, you from Baltimore. I hear how you said this. Oh, you from New Orleans, man. I hear that accent. Are you from Boston? Are you from New York? I love being able to identify people by the way they talk or move or the things they say. And I just feel like we starting to become one just big ass same mess of a meal that just slopped on a plate like the lunch lady with an attitude, just a big ass spoon of this. And I'm like, man, it's the same thing every week, man. Get your ass down the line. I got to serve the rest of these kids. And I'm just like, and to speak on something else about 21 Savage. So 21 Savage said this about his freshman class. Okay. And I was just like, oh shit. So 21 Savage said he could wash his freshman class in a battle of the hits. Now, his freshman class includes 21 Savage, Lil Uzi, Kodak Black, Lil Yachty, G Herbo, Denzel Curry, Anderson .Paak, Dave East, Designer, and Lil Dicky. That's his freshman class. And he was like, I can watch them cats in the battle of hits. He talking hits, okay? He didn't say talent. Because honestly, I feel like Anderson .Paak is one of the most talented cats working today in music. From a musician standpoint. I don't know if he got mad hits like that, but you know, from a musician standpoint, I look at this list and I'm like, well, Anderson .Paak is clearly, in my opinion, clearly the most talented musician on this list. As a real-rounded musician, as somebody I would like to see live. I feel like, yeah, let me get that Anderson .Paak concert up off you. Now, hits, I don't know. I don't know what they got. I don't really be listening to these cats. Like, I listen to Dave East. Under Anderson .Paak, I listen to Dave East the most. And I know Dave East doesn't have a lot of hits. Designer, I wasn't even aware that he had mad hits like that. I know Panda was huge.
One.
That's what I thought.
And that was a #1 hit, so that's a big deal. But he don't have.
I thought he might have had 2 tops.
Panda was the only one.
Panda, okay, well shit. That's even worse than I thought. I know Lil Dicky is popular.
Lil Dicky had those couple, maybe 1, 2 songs. He had that big song with Chris Brown.
He had that song. He had something
else.
Then
maybe
to get
something
him
else.
on.
But then
he's a
disappeared
TV star
on TV.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Denzel Curry.
Denzel Curry doesn't have hits, but he has good music. He definitely makes good music.
Okay.
He doesn't have hits though. He's not that big of an artist, like super chart topper type. He's not that kind of artist.
Okay. So then we go to G Herbo.
G Herbo's had some moderate success, I would say.
Yeah.
Again, not necessarily a chart topper or anything like that.
Okay.
But he's cool.
I hear his name a lot though.
Yeah,
he's cool. He
definitely gets a lot of he definitely is bubbling up some more. Like he's gaining notoriety as the years go on.
He's from Chicago too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know Chicago got that whole thing.
Chicago, man, we out here. Lil Yachty.
Yachty has, I would say, same realm, moderate success. He's had more songs that are like have charted a little bit higher.
Yeah,
but even then, nothing like, oh my god, you know.
I feel like he hasn't had a hit in a while because for a minute there, everybody was talking about Lil Yachty, and then
he was everywhere. His marketing was crazy. He was Sprite and Target and all kinds of stuff.
He really
like
blew up tough.
So
he could have a claim to this
a little bit
on the hit side.
Even then, he still you can't name one Yachty song that was his song that charted that high.
What was that one song?
Because he had the song with Dram and that was Broccoli. That's not his song though.
Oh wow,
that's a feature.
Forgot about Dram. All right. Kodak Black.
Yes.
So he can
I don't like Kodak Black personally. He's terrible. But
Right.
hit-wise, he got some hits for sure.
Okay.
What's that song? Super Gremlin. We Could Have Been Superstars. That song was like, it charted very high. Like number 3 or something like that. And it was on the charts for like weeks straight.
Okay. So he got more hits.
That ain't even, that's one of his biggest, but he had the song ZZ. He had dang, what's the name of that one? Tunnel Vision. That was one of his first ones. I think that charted at like number 7 or something like that, 2017.
Okay.
He's had, he has hit success for sure.
Okay.
And he has, he can go, him and 21 can for sure go toe to toe.
Got you. And Lil Uzi.
Lil Uzi has had some, again, he's had some songs that are very popular, like EXO Tour Life was probably one of his biggest songs that he's put out.
Yeah. He does numbers too.
Yeah, his stuff sells. His album sells. As far as like hits go though, charts not too much. But he can. He's another one that I could see them going back and forth with it for sure.
Because I know his last album did extremely well on the charts.
Yeah, because Eternal to Take. People were waiting on it.
Yeah,
because it was like waiting for it, and then it was crazy because it was like either you really liked it or you really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I liked it. But Lil Uzi's like baby Lil Wayne to me. Okay. In this realm of artists, like he's growing into a rapper phase now. Before he was all the this, I'm doing this, I'm all this. So he still falls into it, but now he's actually rapping more now, and I like it a lot because he still has that same style. But every time I listen to him, I was like, bro, he's stepping into like this Lil Wayne era. Like he's really trying to be a rapper dude, and I like that.
Okay.
But him and so as far as the people on that list, I would say 21, Kodak, and Uzi can kind of go at it.
Okay.
Kodak probably has the most success chart wise.
Yeah.
21 probably has the most growth. as an artist wise, like his because when 21 came out, man, nobody was taking him serious like that.
Right.
Even then, he wasn't a rapper for real. He was like, I just started doing this to get me out the streets.
Right.
And now, if we look at him now, it's like you hear 21 Savage on a song, you'd be like, I'm surprised that it's the same guy because he's grown a lot.
Right.
And
I would hear that about him, like when he would do a feature with. When him and Cole work together, it's always like, man, 21.
Yeah.
You know, he surprises. It's always like a
because who would have thought 21 Savage and J. Cole would have any kind of pairing?
Exactly.
That's the thing about it. It was
exactly,
like,
yeah.
And Uzi
he's pairing with these good cats, and now you know him doing an album with Drake. That's gonna up his hit leverage even more so.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm sure you know he's probably counting his features and all that when he says hits because he's had a lot of feature work.
He hasn't had like. He hasn't had huge hits either.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on the same level as necessarily like Kodak or anything like that. But he's had songs that have charted pretty well.
Yeah.
But nothing like, you know, they were more like I would say Atlanta songs, like regional. If you were there early on, then you know, he has some big songs like X or whatever. But chart topping kind of thing, like not for real. Like Bank Account was a big song for him. X with Future was a big song for him. Like every album he has, like maybe one. A Lot was a big song for him. It didn't necessarily chart super big or anything like that, but it got notoriety and it got him a Grammy. So
he got a Grammy too. He gonna throw that in the mix.
Yeah.
What who's your favorite artist on this list?
21.
21?
For sure.
Easily. Bet that.
I was a fan of 21 when I first started hearing him. I was like, I like what he got going on.
Gotcha.
So I've just been watching him ever since about 2015 or so. And then we dropped Savage Mode. I was like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So it'd be 21 and then Uzi. They're like there to me.
Gotcha. So Brandon, who your favorite on this list?
Anderson.
Okay.
And you know, it's crazy. Anderson had to grow on me.
Oh, you didn't like him at first?
At first, I was like, man, what the fuck? The voice.
Yeah.
It was Drugs. That song, Drugs. I just was just like, okay, I don't give a fuck. I'm like,
oh,
right,
that
buddy.
Okay. When did he grow on you? What piece of work of his made it to where you like, oh, all right,
I think it was like Stockholm syndrome where I couldn't get away from the song Drugs. So I was finally like, okay, since I'm captive, I must fall in love with the person who captured me.
Yeah.
And it just grew on me. And then I was like, all right, let me dig into more Anderson. And then I think it was him and what's his name? Mac Miller, that Dang song. I was like, okay, I like this. Let me dig in more. And then I kept digging and kept digging. And
did you like Malibu?
I had to go back. And like, I like it now. But like at first I was just like, nah, I don't really like this. Like, I got to be honest, I was not feeling Anderson .Paak at all in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then now I like everything. Like Malibu, I like, I mean, obviously I love Silk Sonic. Silk Sonic is good.
Right.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it had to grow me. Even Mac Miller. Like, just because, like, I'm saying him because that song with him and Anderson is the song that made me like both of them. It made me dig into both of them. And I was like, all right, let me see
what they talking about.
Like, if they sound good together like this, maybe they sound good apart. Let me listen to this with open ears, open heart.
Right. Because for me, like, my intro to Anderson .Paak was the Straight Outta Compton soundtrack. And he was all over that mug. And I was like, yo, who is this dude? He sounds unique. So that was my intro to Anderson .Paak. Right after, when Straight Outta Compton came out, he was on that soundtrack. And so I was just like, all right. And I would hear his name here and there. And so when Malibu came out, that shit blew me away. It was an album that I couldn't stop listening to. And I love it when I come across albums like that where I can't stop listening to it. And Malibu turned into my favorite album of 2016. And it was up against Solange's album, but I was like, yo, Malibu is the one for the year. And then, and like he has a new song out with her that's a vibe right now that I just listened to today. They told me about it yesterday when I was streaming, but the song with Anderson .Paak and her is a good time. And of course, the stuff he did with Bruno Mars is just fire, legendary. Me and Me and Sincere bond over it. So it's very sentimental now. And then I listen to Dave East a lot. I listen to Dave East. When he drops a new project, I usually pull up on it. It's something about Dave East that's not connecting with the masses, though, because Dave East has all the components of a star. You know, he has the voice, the look, the swag, all that. But it's something that's keeping him just like underground. And you know, I'm super rooting for him too because he's on Nas's label. So I'm just like, you know, as a fan of Nas, I want the endeavors to be successful. But Dave East has the nugget of just superstardom, but it's something that's not pushing him over to, you know, to that superstar level that he could be at.
You know what it is? Way too many women are attracted to him and all the men hate on him. So they'd be like, man, it goes right back to the insecurities. It goes right back to the beginning of what we were talking about. Now, I know you're gonna disagree.
It ain't that.
And I'm not dead serious about it. But I could imagine a lot of women being like, "Ooh, Dave," and the guys be like, "Man, I ain't feeling it."
We know the women feel Dave. I even called you out on Dave because
I blocked Dave.
You brought up Dave for no reason. Like, man, Dave East's face. And I was like, and I was like, yo, I said to the people, like, so Sabrina got a crush on Dave East. She's like, no, I don't. And then later on, it turned out she did. And so it's like, of course, man. And then we had a dust up because she added him when she was talking about Dave East looking good. I was like, oh, hold on now. You know, I'm all for you finding people attractive. Just don't be adding when you say it. Because once you add a person, they'd be like, oh, because Sabrina looks good too. And then if Dave said, oh, you think I'm handsome? And then, you know.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Dave ain't checking for me. I be adding everybody, though.
Everybody's checking for everybody, and any post can be seen by anybody. We know this now.
No.
So I was like, all right, you can say Dave East is good looking, you can feel it, but don't be adding them when you say it.
Yeah, that pettiness comes back.
That was a foul on the play right there. Goddamn it! I was like, now hold on, now you know.
What did I say? I think I said I blocked Dave East. I don't know what my post said, but
it was something. I was like, hey man, don't be adding them. You know, you can say it, but hey, watch. And then she tried to play it. No, they ain't gonna see this, man. Look out. And
that's what I feel.
Sabrina's always saying anybody can be seen on Twitter, man. Your post can really blow up on Twitter. She say this 80,000 times a week.
Yeah, but I don't mean like and I'm talking to you personally, like your post, because the stuff you post is funny, and like you have the following that a retweet can turn into 10 retweets, can turn into 100 retweets, can turn into thousands. You know what I mean? So when I say that to you, I mean that.
You mean what? That
anyone can blow up on Twitter, especially with your following. But as far as if it was on Instagram, everybody be seeing Instagram. I don't know what's up with Instagram. Anybody they see it, and I'm like, how the fuck you see you got 20 million? Or if I like anything, how you see my story, man? You got 20 million followers. But yeah.
And the thing too about Dave East is the fact that he is a heartthrob should add to the popularity. And it for me, it's like women feel Dave East, but I don't think they're feeling the music, and that's what it is.
That sounds like what a lot of women in rap go through.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They look good, but I'm not listening to that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like his music isn't resonating with the female audience, even though they like what he looks like. They're just like, well, I can't relate to the sound of it.
Yeah.
Now, if he can find that sweet spot to bring the ladies into the music, then he'll blow up, you know, to the heavens. But you know, it's definitely not dudes hating on him, because dudes fuck with Dave East.
Yeah.
Like we know women like him, but we fuck with the music because it's street shit. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's
I feel like that's the 101 in music is like you have to appeal to the women.
Right.
And if you can't, then you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
This is simple fact. And when women come out, like the women that are rapping, they'll come out, they'll get the support from the women, And then it's like they have to almost do the opposite. They kind of got to bring in some of the guys too, because then they'll tell the girls and then it'll switch over, you know, kind of thing. It's hard to see a woman rapper just blow up because of just the nature of whatever the hell they be got going on in the industry where they can't do this and that. But watching people like Glorilla blow up or whatever and then seeing how many dudes rock with her, because she's talking about street shit. She's hard. She's from Memphis. So dudes are like, nah, I fuck with Glorilla or whatever. And then you'll see the women, they'll fuck with her too, but then it'll be a thing when they're like the attractiveness comes into play. Because then women will be like, she's cute. I don't think that people think that she's like ugly or something like that. Like people be talking shit about her. But it'd be mostly be like women, like dudes be like, nah, she kind of cute. Women be like, are you serious? And it's like, it's one of them kind of,
She's a very like adorable girl. I think it's hard for me personally to be like, yo, she fine as hell because she look young. She's very pretty. Like she's cute. Probably. You know what I mean? Like, girl.
I'm looking at her now. She looks.
She
looks very much like what girls look like now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, it's like what Sabrina said. People are starting to look the same, and so she looks like so many different girls.
Copy and paste. I want to do a video where I go through.
She looks like the kids though.
Today's glow up, and I want to get my hair done like all the girls, and I want to do my makeup like all the girls, and I want to wear the Fashion Nova, and I want to see how many other people I end up looking like at the end of my transformation. I got to do a video like that. I got to get the fake eyelashes. I got to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like a very copy and paste.
Yeah. Because like she looks like, if you show me a picture of her, I would just be like, she looks like 1,068 other girls that I've seen on Instagram.
That's what happens with the internet. So it's because obviously we have access to see so many people, and then so many people have access to see what celebrities do,
right?
And then what celebrities are on is not necessarily there's not like a big gap anymore. So the reach that you felt like celebrities would be like so far apart from you, it's like I can brush shoulders with any of these fools because
close the gap.
Yeah, because social media, I feel like I know you, and it's a good and bad thing because it's like it gave a personalization to the how you feel about a person. It gave them a character. You can see that character online.
Right.
But it made it so that people felt like they always have access to you. And they are on the, like, maybe like on the same level, not even shaming anybody for like, oh, I'm here and you're here. It's just more like, you don't know me. So you can't come to me like you know me. Right. And that's what everybody does on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. They just roll
They
up.
talk to you crazy. It was like, you don't know me. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
Same thing with the clothes and stuff. Everybody's wearing the same clothes because we all shop at similar places. Like it's not like they just go into designer brands and stuff. Like they get some of that, but now we find ways to get some of that. Right. And then we got smaller, like these big fast fashion brands just knocking off the other stuff. So then we can look like how you look like too. It's easy. And it's just the internet just cultivated all of that. And then everybody on the internet just want to be like, I like how she looks. Or I like how they look or what they're wearing, so I'll just do what they're doing too. Right. Yeah, and there's definitely a sense of like the individualism it's there, but that influence of just wanting to, I want to fit. I don't want to stick too much. And what everybody else is doing is cool. There's so many cool things, so everybody kind of want to do everything cool.
Right. It's scary, man, because I don't want to lose individuality. At any cost. So it's just like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? Hold on to your individuality as long as you can, goddamn it. Man. Hold on to it, man. Caress it, hold it, cherish it, vibe with it. And you know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about, you feel me?
There was a moment there where I had hope it was like hope and also kind of like I was a little upset because I grew up punk, right? I grew up very punk fashion, from my hair, like my hair color to the punk like tees. And I started sewing my pants so they would be really tight with like rips and stuff like that. And like 99, early 2000s, like before skinny jeans became a thing, like I had a very punk look, and then I had the pinup look going, and like I used to always get made fun of for all of that because I'm walking through the hood looking like this, right? In my 20s, I lived in the hood. I'm walking around looking like that, and people are just not understanding why you trying to be white. And I was like, hold on, hold the fuck up. What you talking about? And especially with my tattoo, like everyone didn't have sleeves and stuff like that in my early 20s. So I stood out with all that. And then I started seeing people looking like younger me. Yeah. And I was like, okay, people kind of catching on that it's, it's okay to be different. It's not white people don't own shit. Right. You know what I mean? Like own a look or own and if anything, they, where they took it from. So it's like, and so I was like, okay, this is cool. Like everyone's starting to kind of look different. Everyone, the internet's kind of exposing people to different fashions, different styles. So I'm starting to see it. And then I don't know if it's the Kardashians to blame, because it always comes down to them, right? It always comes back to them for we all know that they steal from Black women. Right. They steal the look from Black women. But the reality is that even though it's all stolen, they have so many eyes on them that they make a certain look popular. Right. You know what I mean? And it's gotten so popular to where the bodycon dresses was such a thing. Like everyone started rocking it. Then the hair had to be a certain way, laid a certain way. And if your hair is not laid a certain way, you're not cute. You're not with it. You're not a bad bitch. Da da da. So it's like, damn. Like just when I thought we were making progress, we just went right back to looking the same. Right. And then if you didn't have a certain bag, oh, you a bum, like this, that, and the third. Like, why? I don't own any designer, like nothing but like Nike. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and if anybody wanted to ever come for me for that, for not owning like a designer bag or something, you got to tune me. Like, huh? You got to tune me. Oh yeah, that's because yay. You got a Toomey bag. I do got a Toomey bag. Talk to me nice. But yeah, I remember we were somewhere and somebody's like bragging about their designer stuff, and they were just making it seem like like women need to have their designer, this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, women don't gotta have shit. Right. Women just gotta be happy. Right. That's facts. Damn it, man. Scary times, man. So I was talking about Taylor Swift last week, and I was just like, yo, Taylor Swift doing numbers. She doing numbers. She doing this, that, and the third. The numbers. And now I thought to myself, I was like, yo, a King Disease 3 listening party? Say less. Say less. So it got me thinking, like, I don't know Taylor Swift's music. I don't pull up. I don't tune in. Now I know I've heard a couple songs here and there, but I was just like, I've never gone to her music page and clicked on Taylor Swift. I've never done this. So I was like, let me see what all the hype is about. So I went to the Midnights album. First, I looked at the charts, and I was like, all right, we said Taylor Swift had the majority of the top 10 songs for the week. The majority of the songs were hers. I went to the number one song on the chart, and it was Anti-Hero, right? And I hit play. I liked it. I was like, all right. I wasn't a big fan of the chorus, but the verse, the melody of the verse and the songwriting, I was like, yo, this is dope right here. Like I was feeling the production. I was feeling the melody of the verse. And I was like, all right. So now, mind you, that's the only song I listened to. But I was like, all right, Taylor Swift, I get it. I see if I like it and I'm way outside of it. If I can come in as an outsider and be like, yo, this right here is legit. I can see why it appeals to so many different people. And so many people that, drool, that are Swifties. And so I was like, all right, it's not like a situation where I'm like, I don't get it.
I don't see how y'all can listen to this horseshit. I was just like, yo, this song's legit. And I've been coming back to that particular song because I really like the melody of those verses. And I've listened to that song at least 4 times since I pulled up. So I give credit where credit is due up in here. And I like that song. So, I might listen to more later on. Who knows? But me pulling up, getting a sample of Taylor Swift by listening to one hit song. And I was like, all right, I get it. I get it, Taylor Swift fans. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? So shout out to Taylor Swift, man.
Just say it.
You made a song that I liked.
You're a Swiftie.
I'll be a Swiftie if I wouldn't want to false flag it and call myself a Swiftie when I don't know her hits. I can't name you 5 records off the top of my head that are Taylor Swift songs. So, if I claim that I'm a Swiftie and then Swifties roll up and be like, well, what's your favorite song on this album? I got nothing. So I don't want to false flag it. You know me.
Yeah.
I don't even claim vegan because I don't want to be false. So I'm not a Swiftie just yet. But what I will say is that the song I specifically picked to listen to Taylor Swift, she's 1-0 with me. She's 1-0. So, and that's a better record than Britney Spears for me. Because I got 0 Britney Spears songs that I've heard that I've actually liked. 0. Zilch.
Britney bitch.
It's Britney bitch. But shout out to Britney Spears. I hope she's doing better. I care about her as a human being. I'm just not a fan of the music, but I do hope that she's in a healthier place, both spiritually, mentally, physically, and getting out of that situation that she's been in. And, I know she's a mom too. And I care about her life. I just never liked the music. Real quick, Cher is dating somebody 40 years her junior. And the women are like, yes, do your thing, boo. You know what I'm saying? 40 years older, Of course, the double standard is going to pop up. If that was a man going 40 years younger, y'all would be up his ass cheeks. And that happens as well. But Cher, as long as you happy, man, listen. You know what I'm saying? 40 years old, that's the kids, for sure. Cher was already a full-grown star when this boy was born. When this boy was coming out of his mom,
man,
Cher was on TV. She was a star. She was already Sonny and Cher. At this time, she was probably already divorced. She's probably already a mom, all that. And she was like, look, man, life is too short. I've looked the same age for 30 years. God damn it, listen. I'm gonna let this young man dust me off. God damn it. And y'all just gonna deal with it.
Man, City Boys is up.
Man.
City Boys are up, man.
And and from his standpoint, that's a good look. Yo, man, you dating Cher? I see you, dog. And if she happy, I'm happy, man. If she happy, I'm with it, man. Do your thing, Cher. Do your thing. Witches of Eastwick, Moonstruck, Mask. If you believe in love, that's a love. If I could turn back time, goddammit. Cher's a legend out here, man, and I'm happy for her.
You know what's funny? I was in her comments underneath a picture of them, and a lot of people are like, be careful. We heard that he's a serial cheater. Oh my God, protect yourself. He's a cheater. Right. Just be careful. We care about you. And it's like, girl, she don't care about no cheating.
Right.
She there for a good time, not a long time.
She been around the block, y'all. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean she's been around the block for the past few years. She's in her 70s. Of course she's been around the block, man. Come on. She know what it is. She ain't a fool.
Right.
She been popular, she been rich, she been successful all this time. That comes with some intelligence. Some life experiences, if you will. She know what the game is. Just let her do her thing. Shout out to Cher, man.
Yeah, shout out to Cher.
Shout out to Justin Fields, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, who reminds me of Serene. I like this quarterback. he does remind me of Serene. Like the look, the skin tone. I'm just like, man, this look like my son right here. So I'm always rooting for black quarterbacks in football. I'm always rooting for black quarterbacks in football. You know, if they black, I'll be like, man, I hope y'all do well, man. Because, you know, black quarterbacks in football have always come under criticism because they feel like they run too much. They can't really throw this, that, and the third. And, you know, we have this like renaissance of black quarterbacks. And Justin Fields is the quarterback that's going to run. He's going to take off running. If ain't nobody open, guess what? He's running. He just broke a record, a rushing yard record, 178 yards rushing. He just broke that record for Michael Vick. And, yeah, if you go look at Justin Fields, he'll remind you of Serene. And he broke a record. We lost the game. But we had tremendous offense. It was just the defense wasn't shit. That's why I tweeted, Chicago Bears ain't never got two things that match. Peanut butter, no jelly. Kool-Aid, no sugar. Offense, no defense. There's always something missing. The stuff just ain't matching up. So I'm happy for Justin Fields. I hope that the offense just learns what his strengths are and let him utilize that. Even the game before this, he was getting off because they was allowing him to run when he needed to and this, that, and the third, setting up plays to where, you know, you can fake out the defense and have him run. He's got the speed. Let him run. Let's get this win by any means and build a solid core around this quarterback that has the talent. So shout out to Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears.
Yo, Justin Fields is vegan. I just want everybody
Oh,
to know
yeah.
that.
He is vegan. There's that. I told Sabrina that. I was like, yo, the quarterback for the Bears is vegan. She's like,
cool
oh. So, and I'm rooting for this young man because a black quarterback in Chicago is rare. So I love to see it. And yes, I'm pulling the race card when it comes to sports because the black quarterback position is always getting hated on. So absolutely. Shout out to the black quarterbacks in the league right now. Shout out to Geno Smith, who is thriving in Seattle with the Seahawks. And, you know, I know when they lost Russell Wilson, who was also another black quarterback who went to Denver, and he's not really doing good at Denver right now. But shout out to Geno Smith, because I'm sure he was coming in, everybody was like, oh, Geno Smith, man, we miss Russell. And he's been thriving out there, and Seattle's doing well with him. So shout out to Geno Smith. Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm mad that you did your thing last night simply because it's a fantasy football thing. But I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson as well. But I just didn't want him to do well last night because I needed him to not do well so I can win my fantasy week. But there was nothing personal. Nothing personal. Anyway, I'm going to end verbal cardio on this.
Oof.
Movie trailers, man. Sit the fuck down.
Talk about it.
Movie trailers need to sit the fuck down. Sit your asses down as movie trailers. Stop making so many movie trailers and stop trying to squeeze so much into the movie trailer. Stop. You're showing too much. And people, y'all got to stop looking at the trailers, man. Stop looking.
For real.
Stop. You gonna walk into a minefield of seeing too much. Stop looking. I've been avoiding these Black Panther trailers for months. Out here ducking and dodging, looking down at the movie theater, putting my face in the popcorn bag, leaving the whole theater, coming back, you know. And I'm just like, man, it's tough. Because they would, no, you gonna see these visuals. You gonna see the scenes. Stop. We only need one trailer. Black Panther got 3 now. It's like, why? Why are we doing this? If it's a movie you know you're interested in, why are you even looking at a trailer? Sabrina sent me a trailer today for this movie with John Malkovich and Martin Lawrence. And she said, this looks pretty good. And I was like, all right, let me click on it. I clicked on it. I was like, yo, Martin Lawrence? And it's Martin Lawrence in a thriller. And I was just like, wait, this is serious? And then I saw all I needed to see and cut the trailer off. Because I know with thrillers, they want to show you too much. They going to end up, the trailer is longer, the trailer is longer than 2 minutes. They going to show us too much. Let me leave now. Anyway, I wanted to wrap up verbal cardio, man. This is a long episode, and I'm sorry, and I'm tired of talking, but I still got to do Grosse Pointe Bake. Stay tuned for Grosse Pointe Bake. If you are my patron saints, the bakery, you can stick around for Grosse Pointe Bake. Today's episode, Jay-Z versus Beyonce in the numbers department, man. We talking the numbers. Since we talked about Beyonce and Jay-Z last week, it got me to thinking, like, let me compare sales and see who's bringing what to the table on the album sales front between Beyonce and Jay-Z. And let me know who you think is going to win and what their number one album will be between each of them. I'm doing like I do all the verses. I'm going to do their 5 highest earners and compare those, and then give you the total as well. We about to see. I'm excluding joint or group projects. So I'm not including Destiny's Child albums. I'm not including, Jay-Z and Kanye West or Jay-Z and R. Kelly. It's just going to be them solo versus solo. But I will give you the total with the joints as well. So pull up on that, man. We about to get into it. Thank y'all for tuning in to another session of that verbal cardio.